It is always shocking when it happens, but because heroes generally have strict moral codes, this means even their own villains sometimes end up being the folks that they save. Welcome back, Nerd Squad. It's me, Amanda. This is the top 10 unexpected times superheroes saved their arch nemeses. Which hero do you think saves their own enemy the most? Number 10. The Flash saves Reverse Flash from his own hate. In the comics, Barry Allen as the Flash ends up defeating his greatest enemy by, in essence, saving him from his own hatred. He does this after Reverse Flash, Eobard Thawne, attempts to take control of the Flash's body and loses. They race back into the Speed Force for what is set up to be the final race between them. But when Reverse Flash charges at Barry, Flash chooses instead of fighting against him to forgive his greatest enemy. The Flash tricks Reverse Flash, vibrating at a frequency that in essence allows him to basically reset Thawne, turning him back into a Flash fan, wiping his slate clean in terms of his experiences as Reverse Flash, with him later becoming a tour guide at the Flash Museum in the 25th century, being given a new lease on life. Sometimes forgiveness is the best method when it comes to saving villains in stories, and honestly, in life. And friends, before we move on to our next spot on this list, if you love what we do here at Top 10 Nerd, be sure to go check out our Top 10 Superheroes playlist for even more superhero goodness. Number 9. Superman saves Lex Luthor from... We don't really know what will be causing Lex Luthor's death just yet, but in the new DC Black Label book, Superman: The Last Days of Lex Luthor, which is expected to hit shelves later this year, assuming it arrives on schedule, what we do know is that Lex Luthor is dying, and it's up to Superman to basically save him. This series will be coming to us from creative team Mark Waid and Brian Hitch, and the press release for this new series says that Superman will have to go to the ends of the universe and even through different dimensions and across time to save Lex. Why is Clark compelled to save his greatest enemy, and will he even be able to do it? We'll have to stay tuned to find out, so this one hasn't happened yet, but honestly, knowing Superman, my bet is he's gonna get the job done and he's gonna save Lex. Hence why I included it on this list. Also, I like to tell y'all about cool upcoming comics, and this sounds pretty cool, I'm gonna be real with you. Number 8. Spider-Man saves Green Goblin. From Spider-Man? In the film No Way Home, there is a moment when Spider-Man actually actively saves Green Goblin from his own alternate self. The alternate version of himself being Tom Holland's Spider-Man. As the MCU version of Spider-Man attempts to kill Green Goblin using his own glider, Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man from the Raimiverse steps in to stop him. Using his strength, he pushes back against Spider-Man while locking eyes with him, convincing the other version of Peter to back down. However, also showing us how dangerous it can be to save your arch nemesis, Tobey's Spider-Man is pretty much immediately stabbed for his efforts by Gobby himself, who clearly doesn't even appreciate Spider-Man stepping in to save him from a younger, alternate version of himself. Number 7. Wonder Woman saves Cheetah from her curse. In the 2016 Wonder Woman series, at one point Wonder Woman actually saves one of her greatest enemies from the curse that makes the villain who she is. Granted, Wonder Woman was also teaming up with Cheetah, Barbara, and Minerva, one of her most iconic nemeses, as she needed her help to defeat the being that gave Cheetah her powers, the god Urz-Katarga. But still, in defeating him with Barbara Ann's help, Wonder Woman was also able to give back to Cheetah, freeing her from her curse and returning her to her true human form. Although, you know, Barbara still messed up because she was turned into Cheetah, so emotionally and mentally I'm not sure she's doing so well, but physically, she's back to how she was. Number 6. Captain America saves Red Skull from his demons. When Magneto locks up Red Skull in a bunker, leaving him to die with no way out and only 10 gallons of water for him to drink as he slowly grows emaciated and starves, Red Skull started to hallucinate. Understandably, he is haunted by the ghosts of his past and the decisions that led him here. But oddly enough, there is one hallucination that actually seems to bolster his sense of strength. And guess what? It's his enemy, Captain America. While everyone else wishes that Red Skull would simply end his life, or simply surmises that really that's the only way out, Captain America is the only person who tells Red Skull to not give up. Even this version of Cap acknowledges that Red Skull is obviously one of the most despicable men he's ever met, but still, being so purely good, he does not wish him to die, encouraging him to have faith and keep fighting to live. Number 5. Batman saves Joker from his sentence. At one point, the Joker is sentenced to death for his crimes, or rather, it turns out they weren't actually his crimes, he was falsely accused. Although Batman obviously hates the Joker and all that he represents, Batman also is an agent of justice, and having the Joker killed for something he's been falsely accused of doesn't sit well with Batman. So what does Batman do? He actually saves the Joker from death row by solving the case involving him. As such, Joker remains imprisoned, but is saved from actual death. The best part is the revelation that Batman is the reason for every breath the Joker takes from this moment on, which to him is a fate even worse than death. Number 4. Spider-Man saves Carnage from Venom. Carnage is more of Venom's arch nemesis, if I'm being honest, but both Venom and Spider-Man at the time of this fight teamed up to take him down, as along with some other heroes. And while Venom is also technically Carnage's dad, and at the time was also technically a villain on his path to becoming the anti-hero he is today, I'm still going to count this point. It's too good of a showcase of what I was referring to in my intro. Here, Venom, during the Maximum Carnage event in issue number 36 of Spider-Man, is ready to finish Cletus off after completely wiping him of his powers and his abilities, but Spider-Man refuses to let this happen. During the whole event, Peter has been teaming up with Eddie and trying to teach him and the symbiote, as Venom, that while working with him as a hero, they don't kill. It's not a thing. However, this is the 90s Venom that we're talking about, so of course, Venom is struggling with this concept a lot. It's up to Spider-Man in this issue to prevent Venom from literally eating Cletus's brains. Unfortunately, in so doing, he opens up a window of opportunity for Shriek to bolster Carnage's spirits by slapping some fight back into him. That's a classic Spider-Man move right there, and unfortunately, it does not pay off well, and then the event had to go on for more issues. I say that like it's terrible, but honestly, they could have ended it here, alas. Number 3. Batman saves Joker from Talia al Ghul. This wouldn't be the first or last time that Batman would save the Joker, obviously, but it's definitely a surprising one, especially because of the effect that it had on the Joker. When Joker was shot by Talia al Ghul and would have died, Batman decided to save him by dumping him into the Lazarus Pit. Granted, Batman did this because he believed he needed the Joker to defeat Ra's al Ghul, but still, he did also intend to save him because he was like, look, I need him, he's gotta live, so we're bringing him back. The Lazarus Pit is known for messing with your mind, so Alfred is pretty nervous about Joker re-emerging, but in the end, Joker actually emerged more sane than he'd ever been, with the pits actually having the opposite effect on him. So while it was also clearly surprising that Batman would save the Joker's life, it's kind of even more surprising that in a way, saving the Joker also cured him. Well, at least temporarily. Although I guess that probably made the saving seem a lot more heroic, as it not only is about preserving the Joker's life, but it also literally gave him a second chance. For a time. Anyways. Number 2. Spider-Man saves Green Goblin from J. Jonah Jameson. At the end of Norman Osborn's time as Red Goblin, he's actually saved by Spider-Man from JJ in the comics. While Spider-Man is struggling in his final showdown with the Goblin, he tricks him into abandoning the Carnage symbiote, with Spider-Man also giving up the Venom symbiote who he was currently bonded to. During this fight, JJ decides to interject and end things permanently by shooting Green Goblin point blank. However, Spider-Man, as a hero, can't let him do this, saying that he has to stand up to protect life, even a life as horribly twisted as Norman's, because with great power comes great responsibility. Number 1. Batman saves Joker from Jason Todd. The amount of time Batman has saved the Joker is surprisingly numerous. Honestly, I could probably do a list just about that. One of the most startling times, though, likely for readers, is when Jason Todd attempts to get even with the Joker and then Batman basically interjects. Now, this was after Jason Todd had recently returned from what we thought was being dead for years, but turns out he wasn't. Jason told Batman that he'd give him the choice. Either Batman could shoot the Joker or Jason would shoot the Joker, and if Batman wanted to stop Jason, he'd then have to shoot Jason. How are you supposed to get out of that one, Batman? However, Batman instead chooses to disable Jason, basically picking a whole new option, killing no one instead, although hurting Jason temporarily in the process. A surprising turn that Jason, I'm sure, never expected, and I know I was like, wait, what? The whole reason Jason put Batman in this situation to begin with was because he actually wasn't disappointed upon his return that no one had come looking for him, because obviously they thought he was dead, but instead he was just disappointed that Batman had basically let the Joker live even after the Joker killed Jason. And honestly, if I were Jason, I'd be pretty disappointed too. It's been years, this guy's still running around? Goodness. That's about it. I'll see you next time, but until then, you stay nerdy, YouTube.